Welcome to Fearless and Focused. I'm Brooke,
And I'm Casey,
and we're here to share bold stories, real talk,
and strategies to help you push past fear and level up.
Let's get fearless and focused. Hey, everybody, welcome to Fearless and Focused. I'm so excited about today's episode. I'm Brooke Brolo here with my co host, Casey Kuckert, and our very special guest, Queen Bee herself, Becky Bunnell. Hello, Becky.
Hi, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we are so excited you're here. I want to read just a short bio. I'm sure this just doesn't do you justice for all the things that you've done, but I do want to read this for all of our listeners who don't know you yet so they can get to know you a little bit better. So, Becky Bunnell is a prominent figure in the nail industry, known for her extensive experience and contributions as an educator and entrepreneur. As the CEO of Sogel Nail Company, Nail Studio and Academy, she has trained hundreds of nail technicians over her impressive career spanning over 3 decades. Her dedication to the craft has made her a trailblazer, which she won an award for last year in the industry, where she emphasizes the importance of education and skill development in nail artistry. Recently, she launched her signature gel polish line named I Am, which reflects her commitment to quality and creativity in nail products. Welcome officially, Becky Bunnell, to Fearless and Focused.
Thank you, guys. I'm so excited.
Yes, we're so excited to talk to you today. I can't wait to get into the I am stuff. I think that is like the coolest freaking thing. Like when I learned about that when we were in Belize, when I met you, what was that, March? I just thought that was the neatest thing. So I'm excited to get into that. But before we do, just to kind of like have a little icebreaker, we like to do like rapid fire questions. So I've got some rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. So are you a coffee or tea person?
Coffee.
Coffee. Yes. What's your go-to coffee?
Well, I like to just make it at home and I put coconut creamer in it. But if I go to Starbucks, it's the white mocha. So yeah, you can say I like it really sweet.
I should have known that because I was the coffee person in the mornings and I got your white mocha. That's right. I totally know that.
Yes.
Okay. Are you a morning person or are you a night person?
I'm kind of both, but I wind up I feel like I'm really tired in the afternoon, but then somehow I get that second wind and then it's like, 11:30. I'm like, you need to go to bed because you got to be to work by 8. So yeah, I would guess a lot of people go to bed earlier than me, so maybe more on the night person.
Gotcha. I gotcha. I'm a night owl too. So, what is your favorite nail color?
Oh, definitely like a teal turquoise. Yes, for sure. It's on my toes right now. It's fabulous.
Oh, I kind of have like a fun blue color.
Yes.
What's your favorite nail design?
Nail design. What I loved doing when I was still seeing clients, I loved doing watercolors. So that was one thing I was known for, is just doing watercolor designs. That was like my favorite.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Favorite tool in your nail kit that you cannot live without?
Well, of course, I can't live without the gel, the So Gel. That's the
Good
best
answer. Good
stuff.
answer.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, great. Thanks so much for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super fun getting to know you. And we want to just kind of just give us a download, like share a little bit of your story and just your journey and where you started and where you are now. We want to hear all of the things.
Oh my gosh, I feel like it's crazy being in the industry for 32 years. I obviously must love it because I'm still here. But it's a long journey of taking a 1-day nail acrylic class. And back when Utah didn't even require licensing in 1993, my daughter was 6 weeks old. I did an all-day acrylic class and ta-da, I was a nail tech. That's how easy it was in Utah back then, which is a very scary thought.
Right.
So I tried to find as much education as I could. I would read the Nails and Nail Pro magazines cover to cover, just trying to absorb all that information. 10 years later, Utah finally passed it to where you did have to be licensed. So I was grandfathered in. And the light bulb went on like, oh, well, now all of these colleges and places are going to need nail instructors because they have to have somebody teach this curriculum for them to be able to get these hours to become licensed. So I went and took my instructor's test and passed it. And I called the local college and I said, "Hey, are you going to be hiring nail instructors?" "Yes, we are." And they hired me right on the spot. So that was my first teaching experiences, was being the professor at it was called College of Eastern Utah at that time. It's now USU Eastern. And did that, still working in salon, raising my kids, going through life, marriages, and all the things. It's the nail career supported me at times when I was a single mom. So it's always been amazing, but I love, love, love teaching. Um, Finally, I started doing apprenticeships, which is more of a one-on-one, more hands-on education, and I loved that. So I've had several salons. I had to relocate 10 years ago here to St. George and start over with my clientele, and rebuild from there. I swore I'd never own a salon again, and here I am owning a salon and a nail school. And then 4 years ago, the product line that I was using to do nails, um, I guess 10 years ago when I moved to St. George, they asked me to be, they were hiring educators. So I applied and I got that. And a year later, I was their lead educator and they were flying me all over to train different nail techs around the United States. And I just kept educating and teaching. And then 4 years ago, they asked if I wanted to buy the company. So I was like, yes. And so it's been so stinking fun, scary as all heck, but taking the company and then going like, okay, where is it in the industry? Is it where it's supposed to be? Um, I feel like the company, they always had a really solid product, but they were missing a lot of key pieces of different products and tools and supplies and things like that that we need in the industry that other companies had. So it's been fun for me to take a look at that and go, oh, we need this. We need our own lamps. We need our own e-files. We need, our own forms, and be able to test products and test the different equipment and work with different companies and manufacturers and then like release those in with our own brand. And it's been so stinking fun, and especially the gel polish line, because who doesn't want to sit there and name like 125 different polishes? Like, it's so cool and pick out the colors. So it's been awesome. So I'm just very grateful for the journey. It's just been amazing.
And it's been
Well,
such a cool journey too. Let me just add this little piece of like when Becky was just talking about when she came to St. George and she had to rebuild her clientele. I was one of the ones that was
Yes.
a piece of her clientele as she was rebuilding. And I loved our conversations. Like I remember Becky sitting with you and talking about Gel and the opportunities and I remember talking that, and then when it came time to where they actually offered, I just remember how cool that was, our conversations leading to that. And then it finally happened. And then it's like, oh my gosh, she's doing it. She's buying the whole, company out. So
Yes.
it was so fun. Like I love those nail conversations because it was really good. Just girl talk and goals and growth and all of that. And then here you go, buying the company.
Yeah, a little side note about that. It's like I had their business card, the Sojel business card, and I had wrote on it, own, like own, like I was going to own it someday. And that was sitting on my
wow.
vision board for like 4 years. And when it came to fruition, they called me and I was like, oh my goodness, like, oh, what do I do with this? Like, this is big. This is huge. This is like, can I handle this? Like, I can't fail at this. And, I remember calling my husband and saying, I need to talk to you. And he's like, okay. And so it was like, I just got offered this, and I'm like, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know like what the price tag is on this. Like, I'm scared to death. And I just told him, I said, I can't fail at this. That's one of my things is like, I know that there's just like I was, so many people that rely on our product that are supporting their families, supporting their kids, when their husbands are losing their jobs, like their nail clients, that's their income. I says, I can't like let this product go by the wayside and have to close down or fail at getting this product to the customers. Like, it was a big deal for me, and it was scary, scary, scary. And my husband said, we're not going to let you fail. Like, you never fail at anything. And I'm like, well, okay, like that's the big shoes, but let's do this. And it's been awesome.
So break it down for me because I know nothing about nails other than I go and I get my nails done like every, couple weeks, right? But like, so you bought this gel nail line, and then I know you're big on like safety. Like we had a conversation about it because I was like, dip or gel, and you're like, hello, gel. Can you like tell me why that? Because both of them kind of seem like you're dipping them and putting them on people's fingers versus dipping into a powder. Like, give me some insight on that. I need to know. I need to know.
It is pretty complex. And being a nail tech for 32 years, I've used it all. I've used acrylic, I've used fiberglass. Gel didn't come out till later, like that. It's kind of a newer technology. But you've got all the different chemicals and the compounds that go into a product for it to be able to cure and to be able to have it long lasting. Everybody probably knows acrylic. That's been around forever. So it's a liquid and a powder. Those combine together, the molecules start working, they start hardening, and then that creates your strength for your nail. Gel
That's the one you put
polish,
like the tip on too, right?
you can, yes, you can.
And then they do the overlays. Okay.
Yes, extend it or tip, but it's a liquid and a powder. Like I said, a hard gel, it came out, I can't even remember, probably the early 2000s. They started coming out, and when they first came out, they weren't very good. You have to have an LED light or a UV light to cure that. That's what makes the molecules start spinning around and start hardening the product. So you have hard gels, which do not soak off with acetone. I know this is a lot of chemistry, but I'm trying to just like make it in a nutshell. But and it gives it the strength. So then you also have gel polishes that came out. There used to be lacquers where you would sit and you'd have to air dry and wait forever. Now gel polishes, you stick them in the lamps and they hard within 30 seconds to a minute. Yes.
Who's got time?
Yeah.
Who's got time?
And the thumb.
I remember like, don't touch the steering wheel. You're leaving like,
It was
horrible
horrible.
before I got home.
Yes, horrible. So gel is a great invention. It's wonderful. It cuts down time at the salon and you leave and your nails are dry. So it's wonderful. So those are considered soft gels, the gel polishes, and then there's builder gels that are also soft gels, but they're harder than a gel polish. So your hard gel is the strength. It doesn't soak off. You've got your soft gels that do soak off with acetone and have a little bit more flex. And then you have your gel polish, which is just the baseline of your gels. No strength really. They're just color, instantly dry once they hit that light. So you've got all of those different layers. But as So Gel Nails, our product line has been, it's an acid-free, it's a HEMA-free, it's odorless, hypoallergenic, vegan, cruelty-free, made in the USA. I would be likely to know, I would guess 80 to 90% of all nail supplies come overseas. And so it's really hard to find companies that are actually getting their raw materials in the USA, manufacturing in the USA, producing it in the USA. So I'm very proud to say that our chemist is all of those things. And so that is awesome and very important to me. And also because like you don't know what's in those products. Do you trust overseas of like the SDS sheets of what they're saying are in your products to sell them? It's like that's a kind of a hard one. So I'm just so grateful that I have a chemist that's here in the US and we have these healthier products. There's a huge problem with allergies happening in the nail industry right now. And it is because a lot of these products are 40% HEMA, very high percent. Anything over 15% is considered pretty toxic and dangerous, risky. They can be safe putting on your nails, but it factors into a lot of things of like your LED lamps and the nail technician keeping it off your skin and stuff. So there's a lot that plays into it. It's not just the products, it is also misuse of the products and not having the correct curing lamps to cure them. Because if there's uncured gel underneath, which a lot of times by the eye, you can't tell that. But if that bottom layer of gel is sitting on that nail uncured, that is technically can be seeping into the skin, the bloodstream, those
gosh.
things where your body eventually is like, I can't do this, I can't do this. You start getting the red, itchy, bumpy, even peeling, splitting. And once you become allergic to a nail product that has those chemicals in it, you will be for life. So you can't just go to another product line that also has it in it. You will have to, at that point, find a product line that is HEMA free in order to continue getting your nails done. So, it's really important, and a lot of nail techs are uneducated on it. And so obviously clients and the public, you're not educated on it either, because if your nail tech isn't educated on it, and if they really don't care about those things, then they will continue to use those products because they're, about the money or whatever. But
It's
we want
scary to hear those
it is scary,
horror
yes.
stories.
Well,
Right.
and this is
Of those-
it,
you see on the internet, like the infection,
yes.
and I'm like, oh my gosh, and so that scares me.
But it's not only that, and this is what a lot of people don't realize. There is HEMA is I mean, it's a great ingredient because it is great for adhesion, and it's used in a lot of dental work, and it's used in also a lot of your hip replacements, knee replacements, things like that. Like, it is a very common thing. But as a nail tech, if you are not using it properly, or a client becomes allergic to that, it could cause problems when they go to have dental work and when they go to have hip replacements, knee replacements, because then the body is going to reject that HEMA in those things, because as a nail client, you've become allergic to it through your hands and nails. Does that make sense? And a lot of people
Yes,
don't
but
realize
that's
that.
crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize it, and that's why it's so important to me, and I'm trying to raise awareness about it, for nail techs, for clients to be educated about it. Like, like I said, ask your nail tech, and sadly, a lot of the nail techs don't even know what's in their products. They just buy it, they put it on, and that's it. So really trying to raise the awareness of, the safety end of it, and to make sure that our company only puts out products that are going to be less likely to cause those allergies. So that's just really
Like roll
important.
up in my nail salon next week and be like, so before we get started,
Yeah, I have a checklist for you.
right?
Yeah, yeah, for
Well, and this
sure.
this is why Becky is the queen bee of the nail industry, obviously, because of just all of the education and the knowledge that you have. So I would love to know, you are a CEO, you are a mentor, you're a leader, you're a business owner, you're a wife, you're a mom. How are you doing all of those things? What does that look like behind the scenes for Becky?
It's a lot, and I've done it. Like I said, I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. Like, I laugh all the time because I'm like, I used to sell suckers on the playground in elementary. Like, I've always been this way, but I've had good parents that have raised me to have good work ethic and stuff, and I've always wanted to have my own businesses, and so that's what I've done. Of course it gets tricky. We all know as business owners, like having kids and all the things. And, I was just telling Casey before the podcast today, my daughter was like, I have water running out of my heater vent in my bedroom after I got out of the upstairs shower. So we're going to have to deal with that today. But it's a lot. And, you always have highs and lows. And that's the one thing people need to realize, that some people look from the outside at business owners and think, oh man, they're just so lucky. They've got this, they've got that, they're going on vacations, all those things. And it's like, it's a lot. And we do have times, I have times, where I am just like, I have to take I've been in a funk. I can tell you, the month of April, I was just like, I got in a really bad funk, and I was like, I don't do this. What's wrong with me? Like, I can't pinpoint it, but I was like, okay, I just need to rest, and I need to be still for a little while, and I need to not hustle for the next few weeks until I'm feeling okay again, and I told my husband this week, I think I'm getting my mojo back. It's finally coming back around. He's like, oh, good. Like, you don't, but I told him, I'm like, I don't get like this. I'll get down for a day or two. And then I tell myself, it's like, okay, straighten your crown. You got this. Get back up. Get your big girl panties on. You got this, So This one was a little bit longer, but I just think I've been grinding so hard for 4 years and figuring out this, having this, company and everything that it comes with, because you wear so many more hats, like on this level, that I've ever wore in my entire life. And it sometimes just weighs on you, and you have to just be like, I think self-care is like huge. I've got to make sure that I book that time and just be like, it's okay if I don't feel okay right now. Like, I'm resting and I'm fine. And then, like you said, you come back around. But I think a lot of us women, we beat ourselves up when we, start feeling like that. And we feel like we always have to hustle in our businesses, but we don't. I think we need to remember that it's okay to have downtime, that it's like, no, it's still running, it's still working, it's still doing the things. And so it's okay for me to, if I'm only going to work half a day today, then that's okay. I'm going to be okay with that, and not be so hard on myself.
I think a lot of business owners struggle with that. You're definitely not alone there. Casey and I talk each other off the ledge all of the time when we get overwhelmed, and it's just because life and there's so much coming at you so fast, right? And you're just sometimes you're just like, I can handle it, but then some days you're like, I just can't today. But then you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm failing if I can't be on all the time. Well, I think that stereotype that's out there, like for business owners, that they have to be on all the time. And just because you can get to your email, your text, and all of those things, at all different times, I think it set that precedence. So I love that you say, like, it is okay to not be okay. 100%. I think people need to know that. And you're not alone in that. And when you need help, go ask for it. When you need a rest day, go ask for it. And I think, this kind of leads me into like your I am, your so, because I heard you say, I am okay. I am, and so tell me what inspired the I am. Is it kind of what inspired you to do? To
Yes,
your
like
job?
I've always been, I guess one of my biggest love languages is words of affirmation. I mean, if you look around my office, words, 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 like I love words. So that's huge for me. And I love to be able to, I do a lot of mentoring and teaching. And so, building those, women up, those girls up, and making them feel good about themselves. But I literally had for a couple years been thinking about launching a gel polish line. And I had kind of figured out a logo and what I wanted to call it, but I just never like went through with it. It was always just kind of back here in the idea box, and oh, I'm going to do that someday, and kept procrastinating on it. Then one night I woke up at 3 a.m. in the morning, and, I was just like, oh, here we go. Business brain kicks on, and oh, great. And I just started praying, and I said, please let me go back to sleep. But before that, like, what's next for me? What do I need to know? What do I need to do? Like, talk to me. And it literally, like a tidal wave flood, just came in about the whole gel polish line. Um, what I was supposed to call it, it wasn't the name that I already had. Pretty much what the logo looked like, what the bottles looked like, and that it was supposed to be more than just a gel polish line. It was supposed to be an empowerment, like evolution. So each name for the gel polish was supposed to be a positive, like an I am word. And I was also told, like, that I needed to do a percentage of the proceeds of each gel polish bottle sold to a local women's shelter for domestic violence victims.
Mhm.
It was just all there. Like I stood up, I started writing everything down, and I went to work that morning with my belly on fire. It came together so fast, so quickly. It just was, it just made me so happy. And launching it out there and being able to we didn't launch it till the end of September um, last year. And so at the end of December, we donated our first check to the Dove Center here in St. George. And that just felt, I got so emotional. Like I just was like, this is what it's all about. And, it's like, it just felt total alignment for it to come like it was supposed to be. And the feedback that I've had for nail techs that have bought our collections, that have bought our gel polishes, um, they said they've had many tears at the nail desks with their clients. The client will pick a color just based on like, okay, teal, like that's my favorite color. I love that, and they'll get back to the desk and they'll turn it over and they'll see what the name is on it. And some clients are like breaking down crying, being like, I needed that word today. And so the movement behind that is like for the next few weeks while you have that on your nails, tell yourself that like, I am fearless. I am beautiful. Whatever that word is of that polish, I am resilient. Like say it every day to yourself for that. And just, it's like help changing lives because we all need that. Like how many times do we like forget who we are for a bit, or maybe we never have really known who we are. And it's really important for women to like value themselves and take a look at themselves and look in the mirror and say, like, I am beautiful. I am resilient.
Self-talk
And-
is huge.
yeah.
And I think that is just so cool because every time you look down,
Yeah.
whatever that word is right there. It's a constant reminder. That's so amazing. I
It's
love
so amazing.
how that came to you. Like you said, belly on fire. Like you woke up like just flooded.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that you created, like you were just thinking, I want to create this gel polish line, but just like you said, it's like a whole movement, like it's an experience. So now, like when these women are going into the salons, like this is a whole experience that they're getting with the gel polish color, and which carries outside of the outside of the salon, which is so brilliant,
Yeah.
and then I can see they're excited, be like, okay, which color next, and then what's the statement? I love that so much. What would you have, because you've been such like a trailblazer and a trendsetter, I feel, just watching you over these years grow and flourish and teach and mentor. What's one piece of advice you would give someone if they're just getting into the nail industry, or maybe they're in a slump or something like that? How do you inspire and motivate yourself, and then what's one piece of advice that you would give them?
If you're just getting started, it is really hard. It is really hard to build a clientele, but you've got to just have tenacity and you've got to be dedicated. And I watch the girls. Like I said, I've put a lot of them through schools and got them licensed. And I can tell I can pretty much pinpoint even just when they're right there in school with me, if they're going to be successful or not. The work ethic, just they're like, you've got to show up for yourself. You got to show up. Like, you might not have clients that day, but show up and be working on your skills, like working on, the swatches yourself over and over again. Keep practicing, keep getting better, and don't give up. Like do everything you can just to build that clientele and to get yourself better. Never stop learning. School is just a little piece of your education. Like you have got to just keep learning, finding the knowledge, reach out and network with other nail techs. I think a lot of people are afraid of doing that. They think, oh, they're the competition, but you will find nail techs that really do want to help you and people that, like I said, good mentors. And you're going to learn so much more from somebody who's already done it, before you. Just keep going. Don't give up. Keep learning, keep growing. And I think, one of the biggest things too is just like step into the fear, like to try new things and to be brave. And that's been my biggest I would say the biggest thing that I say to people for success or, leveling up in their careers or finding a new career, just about leveling up. It's fear is just such a block. And, I have a little necklace that says, fear is a liar. And it's so, so true. And every time you step into that scared as hell, it's like on the other side of it, you go, that was not that big of a deal. Why did I let fear stop me from doing that for so long? And it's because of those things we tell ourselves, right? A lot of times it's just writing down what is the worst case scenario if this happens. Um, and then you look at that list and you're like, well, really, is that the worst thing? Like, is that going to be that bad? Or you know what I mean? And it's just like,
Right. And the flip side of that, like
yeah,
what's the thing, but what's the possibility?
like, what's going to happen if I do? What are the possibilities? Like, if this works out, it's like, if it doesn't work out, I tell myself all the time, well, then it was just a lesson and it just means I need to tweak it and do something different. It's all about just shifting and, but what could happen, you
Right.
know?
It's so true. I think that speaks to volumes to like so many people out there. Like you've been in this industry for 30 years. So you must have started when you were really young, by the way, really young, because you are amazing. But I mean, and I've been in this industry for almost in insurance industry for almost 20, and this relates, be a forever student. I am still learning. I don't know it all. Things quickly evolve and change, right? So being that forever student, I never pretend that I know it all because I don't. And I'm always looking, and I learn from people who just started because they have a different perspective, right? They have a different mindset. I think that's so huge. In any part of your journey as an entrepreneur is to be a forever student. And, you're going to have fear and, pushing through that. And because you got to see what's on the other side. And if not, you're going to have to sit with it one way or the other. You're going to just sit with the fear and just have to be happy with that. Or you're going to push through it and then like, oh my gosh, okay, well, I did it and look what was possible, and then that next piece isn't so scary. But we got to end with a question for all of our guests. And you kind of touched on it a little bit, but
Yeah, I would say Becky already is the definition of this, but ask the question. She's already said all of the stuff to answer it, but let's go in.
I'm gonna ask it anyway. Because she's telling people what they need to do. But like for you, what does fearless mean to you personally?
What does fearless mean to me personally? It's just not caring what anyone else thinks. Like, I think that is the biggest fear blocker. What will this person think if I do this or do that? And all you need to worry about is you, right? And fearless just means going all in. And like you said, it's never going to be a failure if it doesn't work. It's just a lesson. And just keep going. Fearless. Yeah.
I love that. And I love you so much, Becky. And you
I love
you
you
always
guys.
are like, practicing what you preach and being that cheerleader for everyone. And we just watch you just paving the paths and all of the things. So not only did you like educate us today on nails and what we need to be asking our nail techs, but also like just reminders and affirmations and how important it is and to ask for help and to just go for it, no matter what anyone else is going to think. So I love that so much. Where can people find you and follow you?
Oh my goodness. So I actually recently kind of rebranded that Instagram after I think it was your summit last year, but I changed my Instagram name to I am Becky Bunnell. So that's my main one. My nail supply company is at Sojel Nails. My nail salon is Nailed Studio and Academy. So all of those things on social media. And yeah, it's a little bit crazy running that many pages, but you can find me on any of them.
I love it. Well, thank you, Becky, so much. I've got so much out of this, and I just love you to death. I love what you stand for. I am Becky Bunnell. Hello. I love it. All goes together so well. Thank you so much for being with
Thank
us.
you guys. It was so much fun. I was so glad to see you guys again.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Fearless and Focused. Remember, success is not about being perfect. It's about showing up, staying bold, and taking action.
If you love this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration.
Keep chasing your dreams, staying fearless, and keeping your focus strong.
Until the next time, stay
Fearless and focused.